The earliest ancient Egyptians buried their dead in small pits in the desert. The heat and dryness of the sand dehydrated the bodies quickly, creating lifelike and natural mummies. Later, they began to bury their dead in coffins to protect them from wild animals, and eventually developed a method where bodies could be preserved and remain lifelike. However, the poor were still buried the same as before because they couldn't afford anything better. What are mummies? A mummy is a body of a human being or animal that has been ceremonially preserved by removal of the internal organs, treated with natron and resin, and wrapped in bandages.
What happens during the mummification process? The first step of the mummification process is embalming the body. First, the dead person's body is taken to the place of purification, where the body is washed with good-smelling palm wine and rinsed with water from the Nile. The next step is that the organs are removed because they are first to decompose. A long hook is used to smash the brain and pull it out through the nose. The heart is not taken out because it is believed to be the center of intelligence and emotion that the person will need in the afterlife. The body is then covered and stuffed with natron, which will dry it out. After 40 days, the body is washed again with water from the Nile. Then it is covered with oils to help the skin stay elastic. All the fluids and rags from the embalming process will be saved and buried along with the body. The dehydrated internal organs are wrapped with linen and either returned to the body or placed in canopic jars. These jars are protected by the sons of Horus, which were Hapi, the baboon-headed god representing the north, whose jar contained the lungs; Duamatif, the jackal-headed god representing the east, whose jar contained the stomach; Imseti, the human-headed god representing the south, whose jar contained the liver; Qebehsenuef, the falcon-headed god representing the west, whose jar contained the intestines. The body is then stuffed with dry material so it looks more lifelike. After the body looks lifelike, it is once again covered with good-smelling oils and is now ready to be wrapped with linen.
What are mummies buried in? This is a large coffin called a sarcophagus. One layer is made of wood and then encased in a stone layer. This is made to protect the body from wild animals and also includes stories of the person's life and spells that can protect them in the afterlife. The sarcophagus will then be placed in a tomb in the pyramids to be found today by our archaeologists.